Hello friends, welcome to our channel. In this channel, we invite you to join us for 1001 nights to listen to the magical stories of Shahrazad. I hope to be a part of moments in your life, so I appreciate it if you follow us and share your thoughts. Your comments will help me produce better content to share with you. Now, let's move on to the story. The historical events of the Sasanian era, the time of the great kings of Iran who expanded their empire beyond the Ganges River and the borders of China, introduce us to the fate of one of the great kings of that period. This king, renowned for his wisdom and righteous conduct, garnered the respect and attention of his people. Neighboring countries also followed him due to his knowledge, bravery, and powerful army. The king had two sons, the elder named Shahriyar and the younger named Shahrazad. Both were young and had inherited the qualities and virtues from their father. After a long reign, the king finally bid farewell to life, and Shahriyar, the elder son, ascended to the throne. At that time, it was decided that the younger son should not interfere in the affairs of the kingdom. Despite this, the younger brother continued his life peacefully, harboring no resentment. On the other hand, Shahriyar, impressed by his brother's kind behavior, loved Shahrazad dearly. To foster goodwill, Shahriyar divided the territories under his rule with his brother, assigning him the land of the Tartars. Without delay, Shahrazad set out for the land of the Tartars and established his capital in the city of Samarkand. 10 years passed since Shahrazad left for Samarkand, and during this time, the two brothers hadn't seen each other. Shahriyar sent an envoy with lavish gifts to the court of Shahrazad, led by his chief minister. As the envoy and his companions approached the city, Shahrazad and his court hurriedly advanced to welcome them and extend proper courtesies. After Shahrazad warmly welcomed the envoy from his brother, he inquired about Shahriyar's health. The chief minister answered the questions of Shahrazad, and the satisfaction of Shahriyar and his formal invitation were communicated to the younger brother. Shahrazad expressed his joy at the news of his brother's well-being, thanking God. He stated that the invitation was the best thing his brother could do, making him proud and happy. Shahrazad eagerly looked forward to the reunion with his brother. Time had not diminished the bond between the two brothers, and Shahrazad had been content with his responsibilities in the kingdom during Shahriyar's absence. He announced that he would prepare for the journey within 10 days and ensure all travel arrangements were in order. He advised the envoy not to trouble themselves by entering the city, as he would stay there. Shahrazad also issued orders for the royal pavilion to be set up and for a feast with delicious food and drinks to be prepared for the envoy's delegation. The prince gave necessary instructions to his deputy and appointed a group to manage the affairs of the kingdom during his absence. The trusted and skilled minister was appointed as the deputy, and Shahrazad had complete confidence in his integrity and competence. 10 days later, after the arrival of the envoy from Shahriyar, Shahrazad prepared for the journey to visit his brother. The royal procession set out with the sound of drums and trumpets announcing the departure of the Sultan. Shahrazad's companions were all immersed in joy and happiness, except for one person who was lost in thoughts and sorrow, Shahrazad himself. He was contemplating the betrayal and ingratitude of his wife. Many days and nights passed as they approached the vicinity of Shahriyar's kingdom. Upon Shahrazad and his companions' arrival near the capital, Shahriyar and a group of dignitaries came to greet him. As the two brothers faced each other, they dismounted from their horses, embraced, and spoke of the pain of separation and the joy of reunion. Shahrazad was guided to the palace designated for him, which was separated from Shahriyar's palace only by a magnificent garden. This garden was splendid, serving as the reception area for important guests and kings. After Shahrazad entered his palace, Shahriyar left him alone to rest and refresh himself for a meeting and conversation later. When Shahriyar came to visit, they sat comfortably, and other attendants and guests took their respective places a little farther away. The two brothers discussed ancient times, the reign of their father, the 10 years of separation, and memories of childhood and youth. After enjoying a royal dinner, they continued their conversation until the night approached. As they bid each other farewell for some rest, Shahriyar went to his palace, but Shah Zaman, although retiring to bed, couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the images of his unfaithful wife and the slave who had taken away his peaceful life. In the morning, when Shahriyar saw his brother's weary face, he sensed that Shah Zaman had not rested well and wondered about the cause. Was it a shortcoming in the hospitality he provided or the worry about leaving his country temporarily? Shahriyar thought about how he could alleviate his brother's concerns. The next day, Shahriyar sent some of the carefully prepared gifts for his brother to ensure his satisfaction. However, all efforts were in vain, as Shah Zaman remained absorbed in his own thoughts, troubled by inner distress. Despite Shahriyar's attempts, Shah Zaman refused to join in the 2-day hunting expedition and archery competition arranged for his entertainment. Shahriyar didn't insist, allowing Shah Zaman to stay behind. While Shahriyar and his entourage engaged in the hunting expedition, Shah Zaman remained in the hall overlooking the garden. He was absorbed in the melody of birds perched on branches, unaware that he was about to witness an unexpected scene. The hidden door of the palace, previously unnoticed, suddenly opened, revealing 20 beautiful court ladies along with the queen. As Shah Zaman observed, the queen and her attendants removed their veils and garments, revealing an unexpected scene of intimacy between them and the black slaves. Shah Zaman, witnessing this betrayal, found a moment of solace in realizing that he was not alone in his misfortune. The scenes of infidelity continued until midnight when they moved to the garden. Then, the group proceeded to the palace's hidden pool, where they bathed and returned inside. Shah Zaman, witnessing this unbelievable scene, found an opportunity to rethink his situation more rationally. He realized that he wasn't the most unfortunate person in the world without reason. He muttered to himself, acknowledging that anyone with a wife was inevitably trapped in such misfortune. Thus, his brother, despite being one of the greatest kings, was not exempt from such troubles. He shares a part of this infidelity and betrayal of a spouse. In that case, I shouldn't let so much sorrow and grief overwhelm me. This is a situation faced by all knowledgeable husbands, and I am not alone. Shah Zaman, who until that moment hadn't felt hunger, ordered food to be brought when he sensed an emptiness in his stomach. While musicians and singers began pleasant melodies, he indulged in eating, deriving pleasure from both the food and the joyous tunes. From then on, Shah Zaman regained his normal state. When Shahriyar returned from the hunt, he went to meet his brother. With joy and kindness, Shahriyar spoke to him. Shahriyar was glad to see his brother happy but was curious why Shah Zaman didn't want to join the hunt. Shahriyar presented some deer and other game to his brother and expressed that it would have been more enjoyable if he had come along. Shah Zaman tried to answer his brother's questions with cheerfulness and keep him satisfied. Shahriyar, still amazed, said, "Thank God you've returned to your normal self. I sensed you were melancholic before the hunt, but now you seem happy. I must ask, what caused your previous sadness?" Shah Zaman replied, "Brother, I cannot keep anything hidden from you. Just command me, and I am at your disposal." Shahriyar responded, "No excuses will be accepted, tell me the truth." Shah Zaman then narrated the events of his wife's betrayal with the black slave, and Shahriyar, in a sympathetic and kind manner, assured him of understanding. Shahriyar continued, expressing gratitude that Shah Zaman had returned to normalcy and explaining his earlier concern for his brother's melancholy. He added, "Now that I understand, I must bring all traitors to justice. You have acted appropriately. Anyone in your place would have avenged themselves. But you only dealt with your wife and the slave. If I were in your shoes, I would not have been satisfied with just that, I would have executed thousands of women to satisfy my anger. Truly, the fate is unbearable, yet you found peace. Tell me the whole truth." Shah-Zaman, feeling compelled, spoke the truth, assuring Shahriyar that he was not to blame for any distress caused. He said, "I reveal the truth, but I worry that by telling you, I might bring distress upon you. However, you will be the cause of your own distress, and I bear no guilt in this matter." Shahriyar insisted, saying, "I won't accept any excuse. Speak the truth." Shah-Zaman then recounted what he had seen regarding the queen, her attendants, and the black slave. Shahriyar, although shocked, appreciated his brother's honesty and condemned the queen's actions. He exclaimed, "How can I go on my wife, betraying me shamelessly with a black slave? I cannot accept such a thing unless I witness it with my own eyes." In this manner, Shah-Zaman shared the details of his discovery with his brother Shahriyar, and both faced the harsh reality of their wives' infidelity. "This matter is so important to me that I must personally witness it," Shah-Zaman said. "I have described what I saw. And you can witness the same scene." To enable them to watch the events from the same window of Shah-Zaman's reception palace, orders were given to arrange a trip to the hunting ground. Without delay, on the same day, the curtain of the king's tent was lifted at the previous hunting ground. The next day, the two brothers, along with their entourage, left the palace for the hunting ground. When they entered the tent, Shahriyar said to the Grand Vizier, "I must go to attend to some matters. Until I return, you are in charge of governing, and no one is allowed to leave from here." After these words, Shahriyar and Shah-Zaman mounted their horses and traversed the path to the palace in silence. Noiselessly, they entered the residence of Shah-Zaman and sat in the same room. Shahriyar witnessed the scene of the queen's love affair with the black slave and other attendants, just as Shah-Zaman had described. He became certain that his brother's account was entirely accurate, and his wife's betrayal left no room for doubt. Shahriyar, while groaning, exclaimed, "O God, how painful! Can it be believed that Shah-Zaman's wife committed such treachery? There is no greater disgrace than this. With the scene I witnessed, no king can consider himself the happiest of men. Kings either have everything or lack everything. In this world, there is neither truth nor honor. This world, at times, favors you, and on another day, it shows its displeasure. We must forsake this kingdom and its customs and travel to distant lands where we are not known, living in anonymity." Shah-Zaman replied, "I will do whatever you say, but on one condition: wherever we go, if we encounter someone more unfortunate than us, we shall return to our own country and resume our lives." Shahriyar said, "I have no objection because I am confident that we will not find anyone more unfortunate than us." The two brothers then left the palace, embarking on their journey. They traveled until the end of the day, slept under the trees at night, and resumed their journey the next morning. After a considerable time, they reached a lush green meadow along the seashore. There, an abundance of tall trees surrounded them, and the two brothers rested under those trees for tranquility. Not much time passed before a terrifying sound came from the sea. Upon looking, they saw a monstrous creature emerging from the water. Its stature reached the height of the sky's clouds. This enormous giant, a very wicked ogre, was an enemy of mankind. The ogre carried a large glass box on its head, which was sealed with 4 steel locks. The story continues. Watch the next video for more.